Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're having a good day. Yeah, I just came across this crazy news. I'm sure you guys have probably heard about it. Hey, Roland, how's it going? And I also want to thank everybody who showed up to the stream last night. And I forgot to mention a donation from Rainy Steps. And I want to say thank you for like that. I think it was about $7 donation. So, and I completely missed that in the chat. I was kind of too engaged in the conversation at the time, and I completely missed it. So, yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for everybody who donated, who participated, and thank you for liking and sharing the stream. And I was also going to do a video, probably maybe later today, on all the different YouTubers and stuff that I've come across recently that I want to start promoting and stuff as well. Because funny, I saw a video from Derek today as well. And, I was thinking the same exact thing. It's like Canadian YouTubers. I'm like, fuck, like, God damn it. But, he made a good video. You should check that out. Talking about all new Canadian YouTubers. Hey, Jay, what's up, RIP? Yeah, I know. Don't worry. My hair grows pretty fast. So it will be back in literally no time. Hey, John Snow, how's it going, buddy? Hey, Richard, Kaz, how's it? And I noticed you asked a lot of questions, Richard, yesterday too, and I missed a bunch of them. But it was, like I said, I was kind of like engaged in the conversation at the time. Sometimes it's difficult to find like a break to like be like, okay, stop talking, Kelly. Kelly, shut up for a second. I'm gonna read some questions. I gotta get a little bit better at doing that. Wife is watching too. Well, tell your wife to say hello from me as well. That's cool. It's actually more than 17 watching. It's plus sometimes you got to consider that too. There's more than one person in each household watching. He shouted you out. Yo, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it was a great video. Yeah, if you guys have not subscribed to Kelly Day's channel yet, go to her channel and subscribe. There's a few other people that I have in my list here. Let's see here. I can go to my channel right now, like promote a few people. But yeah, I'm sure you guys have heard about the news so far about Trudeau pressuring that Wilson-Raybould woman when she was, the MP for, I don't know, ministry or whatever. And she refused to do it. So then that's why that whole cabinet shuffle actually happened. Now we know why that cabinet shuffle happened. And it's funny, like everybody that's working in as an administration, like there was that one guy that had that ethics violation because he was going to give a contract to one of his cousins for like a fishery company. There's that Grewal guy that somehow raised close to $1 million in a very short amount of time to pay off his debts. Now there's like, directly Trudeau's government pressuring, like he created a bill. Like I'll read the article from the Globe and Mail. It's a pretty good detailed analysis of what took place. But, he wrote a bill like in 2018 or one of the bills he passed. And within that bill, he created a law that allowed the minister, Obould or Raybould, to kind of influence cases that were going on, but she refused to do it. And it's not, I don't think it's because she's a good person. It's because she would have had to, it would have tied back to her. And then she would have had to release an article in the Montreal Gazette about it, letting people know that she's the one who put the pressure on, the federal prosecutors to give the people pretty much like a plea deal. And this is one of the biggest companies in Quebec, one of the largest companies. So why they're pressuring these people, or why Trudeau is pandering to them and doing whatever he wants, because it's a lot of votes. Hey, Linda, how's it going? Hey, Happy Fox. I listened to that your radio show the other day where you had me in it, and it's really good. And I didn't even know you had a radio show before. So I'll definitely, if I do the video, I'll promote that as well. Did the thumb up move? I hit it and it didn't move. Oh no. Yeah, well, YouTube was saying they were considering getting rid of the thumbs down button, but I'm not sure if they will. I don't think they will. It seems like a stupid idea, and I think the majority of people are going to want to have it because it lets people know that a lot of people did like your video. And like, even if people come and downvote your video a bunch, it's not necessarily a bad thing because it kind of gets people interested in wondering what it's about. And you know, they'll read the comments, they'll be on the video for a longer amounts of time. It's not like people see a ratio that's bad and automatically are like, well, the downvotes, so many people downvoted this video, must be bad. You know, they're like, oh, something must have happened, so they watch it, or they read the comments, they're on your channel for longer. Maybe if it's all bullshit and the people are downvoting you for no reason, then people will still learn of you, hear of your channel. Like, you know, if people are writing or making videos about you that are smearing you and whatnot, that could be still a good thing for you, because there's always some rational people that end up seeing these hit piece videos and they look into it like, oh wait, this guy isn't as bad as they say, and there we go. Then you got a new fan because of that, and a new person that now knows about you and is following you and retweeting your stuff. So didn't Netflix used to have a different rating system? I forget. Yeah, they probably did, but like that was kind of different than, like, YouTube's been doing this for so long that, you know, it's a part of it, and I don't think they would get rid of it. Hey, Fredrick, a battle for Canada. SNC-Lavalin has 15 violations: fraud, money laundering, bribery. Yeah, they were laundering money or paying off officials in Libya to get contracts. But I'll read some of the story. So PMO pressed Wilson-Raybould to abandon prosecution of SNC-Lavalin. I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's office attempted to press Jody Wilson-Raybould when she was Justice Minister to intervene in the corruption and fraud prosecution of Montreal engineering and construction giant SNC-Lavalin Group Inc., sources say, but she refused to ask federal prosecutors to make a deal with the company that would prevent a costly trial. SNC-Lavalin has sought to avoid a criminal trial on fraud and corruption charges stemming from an RCMP investigation into its business dealings in Libya. Prosecutors alleged in February 2015 that SNC paid millions of dollars in bribes to public officials in Libya between 2001 and 2011 to secure government contracts. The engineering company says executives who were responsible for the wrongdoing have left the company and has reformed ethics and compliance rules. After the charges, the SNC-Lavalin lobbied officials in Ottawa, including senior members in the office of Mr. Trudeau, to secure the deal known as the Deferred Prosecution Agreement or Remediation Agreement that would set aside the prosecution. In such deals, which are used in the United States and Britain, a company would accept responsibility for the wrongdoing and pay a financial penalty, relinquish benefits gained from the wrongdoing, and put in place compliance measures. It is unfair that the actions of one or more rogue employees should tarnish a company's reputation as well as jeopardize the future success and its employees' livelihoods, SNC argued in a brief federal officials in October 2017. So, yeah, you know, they've been pressuring their government for quite a while now to do this, and it's finally with the Trudeau administration that they finally find somebody who's willing to listen to them. And yeah, they lobbied, they paid them millions of fucking dollars to do this. Okay, so you're asking me questions here. Let me see. Let me look in the comments here. Didn't Netflix used to have a different rating system? Cancel Netflix. Hey, Faye, how's it going? Hope you're having a good day. The Battle for Canada. Yeah, makes sense. I hope Jody blows the lid right off of his dirty fuckers. Yeah, you know, this is some... He should get another ethics violation for this, for sure, for what he's doing. What are you trying to achieve? I don't know, just awareness, trying to get people, you know, aware of a lot more things, and also try to get people to be for less government, to have because you know, a lot of people think we need it, and I don't think we necessarily do. And if I can turn as many people into like fucking libertarians type, anarcho-capitalist type people as much as possible, then that is a good thing in my mind, right? Good afternoon. Hey, Gordon, how's it going, buddy? But I'll read some more of this. Built in October 2018, SNC-Lavalin hit a major obstacle. The federal director of public prosecutions refused to negotiate a remediation agreement that would have resolved the Libyan fraud and corruption charges without prosecution. SNC-Lavalin had asked for a judicial review of the decision, citing the extremely negative consequences underlying legal proceedings have had and will continue to have, even in the event of an acquittal. On SNC, an innocent stakeholder, blah, blah, there's like, please don't punish us. Sources say Mrs. Wilson-Raybould, who was Justice Minister and Attorney General until she was shuffled to Veterans Affairs earlier this year, came under heavy pressure to persuade the Public Prosecution Service of Canada to change his mind. Mrs. Wilson-Raybould was unwilling to instruct the Director of Public Prosecution Service, Kathleen Roussel, to negotiate a remediation agreement with the company. According to sources who were granted anonymity to speak directly about what went on behind the scenes in the matter, the Prime Minister's office issued a short statement when asked about it, and they're like, Prime Minister's office did not direct the Attorney General to draw any conclusions on this matter, Press Secretary Chantal Gagnon said in an email in the Globe and Mail. But they're obviously lying. What's her name is not releasing a statement right now because they're probably scrambling behind the scenes trying to figure out to tell her what to say to the media, because this looks really bad on Trudeau, like pressuring her to get the prosecute. Like, we sound like a fucking banana republic at this point when we have the Prime Minister affecting cases on companies that matter to him in Quebec, because yeah, they employ a lot of people. They're one of the biggest companies in Quebec. So what would they probably say? They'd be like, yeah, if you don't do this for us, we're gonna like come out against you, yada yada yada, or we're gonna give you a bunch of money to comply. And yeah, he's gonna do anything he wants. We already see how many things he does for Quebec. How many, like the $25,000 he gives to these people on the border of Roxham Road, actually reducing immigration in Quebec compared to the rest of Canada, which is increasing. He's making all of these, he's listening to them and not to us. But so this doesn't surprise me. I'm not surprised that Trudeau would do this, and his government or any other government would really do this, or even the Conservatives. But they're in some hot water right now. I don't know what they're going to say to get out of this, but this is pretty bad. Honestly, like, this is really bad. The Prime Minister office, they're saying we didn't do anything. Sources say official from Mr. Trudeau's office, whom they did not identify, had urged Mrs. Wilson, Canada's first Indigenous Justice Minister, to press the Public Prosecution Office to abandon the court proceedings. The Public Prosecution Service of Canada's website says, with the exception of Canada's Election Acts matter, the Attorney General can issue a directive to the Director of Public Prosecutions about the prosecution or even assume conduct of a prosecution, but must do so in writing, and a notice must be published in the Canada Gazette. So this is why she didn't do it. She refused for this because Trudeau knew that if this came out, and it would look really bad on him, so he wanted it to be, so he wanted her to take the blame, and she was probably smart enough to see this coming, so she was like, no, I'm not going to interfere in this case. So then he's like, okay, we're going to do a whole cabinet shuffle, and I'm going to demote you to the Veterans of Affairs. And that's what all the media was saying. They're like, we see this as a demotion. Everybody sees this as a demotion. So now we know why. It's because she wasn't playing ball, or she didn't want to get smeared, because she could see the eventual shitstorm that was brewing. And now all the shit is on him, right? Whereas before, if she did it, then he could have been like, well, I don't know why she did, and she did it on her own, and I had nothing to do with it, blah blah blah. But this is funny, and it's like, nobody's gonna die for you, Trudeau. The Public Prosecution Service, yada yada. Miss Wilson-Raybould trusted the judgment of the public prosecutor and did not believe it was proper for the Attorney General to intervene, especially if there could be any suggestion of political interference, sources say. Right. The Trudeau Liberals had criticized the former Harper government for undermining independent agencies and vowed to respect their decisions. Like, yeah, exactly. Trudeau he can't respect the rules he sets himself. It's hilarious. The government also has invoked the independence of the judicial system as a reason for not intervening in the case of the Huawei Technologies Co. Ltd. executive Meng Wanzhou, who was arrested at the Vancouver airport on an extradition request from the United States. Yeah, right. So he could, I guess, they could technically intervene on the case in the Huawei things if they really wanted, but that would look really bad for them. Does anyone know where the line in the sand is? For what exactly? You should be a politician. Oh, thank you, man, but I could never be a politician. That I don't think I could ever be a politician. Good afternoon. Hey, Moose Knuckle. Nice name. I like that. AJPM Chupa, Minister of Defense. Yeah, Chupa would be a good Minister of Defense. He would definitely defend, the computer screens and the computer desks and everything. Who would hit the thumbs down? I got a bunch of haters. Probably BM, because I permanently banned him from my channel. Hey, someone hit the thumbs down. Oh yeah, right, BM. Or Anarchore, because he left me another message earlier today. Does anyone know where the line of sand is? Foxy. Who would hit? Little dictator thinks he can do whatever. Yeah, Alberta is Canada's baby daddy. Yeah, pretty much. And Quebec is the baby. And it's crazy how much special treatment that they get compared to the rest of Canada. And that's no wonder people hate them as well for that. Yeah, a lot of people have died for Trudeau. It is unfortunate. He's a piece of shit. But here, I'll read some more of this. Trudeau government. Oh, yeah, okay. The Trudeau government in 2018 amended the criminal code to allow deferred prosecution agreements that let prosecutors suspend criminal charges against Canadian companies found to have committed wrongdoing. The measure was inserted in 2018 budget after a brief consultation in 2017. So he snuck this in, a thing to literally, these people that came and lobbied him in 2015, as soon as he became prime minister, to put this in his bill. They put it in his bill, and then the woman, Wilson, did not play ball. So, it's funny. But I was reading, I got a little bit ahead of myself, but SNC-Lavalin, Canada's largest engineering and construction company, management company, is one of Quebec's biggest corporations and has a reputation for holding political sway in Quebec City and Ottawa. So, this explains it. One well-connected Liberal with close ties to the company said, Miss Wilson-Raybould blow off the PMO requests. The company had told the government it was in dire circumstances and required suspension of criminal charges to ensure it continued on a solid footing. The Trudeau government in 2018 amended the criminal code, like I said there. Liberals Insider said Mrs. Wilson-Raybould knew this legislative change was meant to help SNC-Lavalin out of the legal troubles that were weighing on the price of its shares. A conviction on the fraud and corruption charges could result in a 10-year ban from federal government contracts, a development that would lead to layoffs. And that's the thing, too. The government employs so many people. It's ridiculous. They employ way too many people. They're in control of way too many things. You know, you see all these companies that you think are private companies, but then you see how many government contracts they have, and you're like, oh, okay, sure, yeah. You know, you're getting all these really good government contracts because you're, you know, hiring enough women and you know the right people in government to do this, and it's complete bullshit. They pick winners and losers. This is what they're doing. This company can literally do all this illegal shit, you know, pay off government officials in Libya, and oh well, no, we'll just give them a slap on the wrist, and no wrongdoing, nothing can go wrong, right? And it's like, you know, this charge happened a long time, so I guess they were stalling the case until Trudeau was elected. So, you know, and then he just inserts this thing into the bill to make it so then the PMO could get, or the whatever, the Raybould girl could you know, get the prosecution to, you know, give them like pretty much a plea deal. Liberal Insider said, you know, they were mad that she blew them off. Since the beginning of 2017, representatives of SNC-Lavalin met with the federal government officials and parliamentarians more than 50 times on the topic of justice and law enforcement. According to the Federal Lobbyist Registry, this includes 14 visits with people in the PMO. Those that they met included Gerald Butts, Principal Secretary to Prime Minister, and Matthew Bouchard, Mr. Trudeau's senior advisor on Quebec, whom they met 12 times. Mr. Trudeau's senior policy advisor, Elder Marquise, also met with company representatives. So all of his highest officials met with this company, and he's now, Trudeau's coming out denying that he had any involvement in this whatsoever. And you're like, okay, nobody believes that except for like the extremely partisan people. And even they probably don't believe it. They're just going to be like, oh, well, Harper did illegal things too. And the conservatives did bad. Two wrongs make a right. Two wrongs make a right. You know, that's going to be the argument you're going to hear from a lot of these people. And I'm really curious to see the outcome of this. Like maybe something new has already happened about this already, but he needs to get a fucking ethics violation for that at the very least. Well, you don't care, Fredrick. You're just fucking downer. Who cares? I don't know, man. It's another example. Yes, politicians, they're all fucking greedy and all this other shit, but I don't know. I find it interesting. So you don't have to watch it. Sources at SNC-Lavalin told the Globe and PMO was furious with the justice minister's intransience on the remediation agreement, and that the company was pleased to see her moved out of the portfolio. After a request from the Globe, Ms. Wilson-Raybould was unwilling to discuss the political pressure she endured aid at persuading the agreement. That's between me and the government, her lawyer said. Asked if she had approached to direct the Public Prosecution Service to negotiation or remediation agreement, Ms. Wilson-Raybould said, I don't have a comment on that. So, yeah, they're all in the back rooms right now working out, you know, what they're going to say. I'm just curious what they're going to say to excuse this. Like, it would be really interesting. Maybe he's going to be like, people remember things differently, I guess. I don't know. Trudeau's Islamic liar. It's called, yeah, Takia. Lie and deceive. He's doing his part. Harper wasn't really conservative. He's very center right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. You know what? So, you know, conservative, whatever. That's true. You're right. It is a Canadian company. The Globe also asked whether she had refused such a request. I cannot comment. Encourage a high and outside legal expert. Montreal Liberal MP David Lametti, a former law professor, became the justice minister, you know, after the whole cabinet shuffle that happened. And, you know, I don't think he intervened either, or by that time it was already, you know, too far in the case for him to intervene. So, you know, the cabinet shuffle happened a little bit too late for anything really to be done about it. But she released a lengthy statement about it, yada yada yada. But then in the article, it released a timeline. So in 2015, the RCMP charged the company and two subsidiaries with paying nearly 48 million to public officials in Libya between 2001 and 2011 to influence government decisions under the Muammar Gaddafi regime. The RCMP also charged the Montreal-based company, its construction division, and a subsidiary with fraud and corruption for allegedly defrauding Libyan organizations of about 130 million. In 2015, the SNC-Lavalin chief executive Robert Card says the company would like to arrange a defense prosecution agreement with Ottawa to avoid prosecution. Federal lobbyist registry shows SNL represent, they meet with Trudeau 50 times. 2017, Trudeau government launches consultations on whether to introduce deferred prosecution agreements, also called remediation agreements. And in 2018, in the federal budget, he put those agreements in there. And then June 2018, Bill C-74, which includes the remediation agreements, received royal assent. And 2018, it keeps going. And they're pretty much at the decision they are right now. And then in 2019, Jody Wilson-Raybould is shuffled from Minister of Justice to Veterans Affairs, Associate Minister of National Defense. Well, it's plain to see that this was just bullshit. This is going to be like the 5th time he's gotten an ethics violation, I'm pretty sure. But thank you for the donation, Malcolm. $10, man. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. So this is going to be the 2nd time Trudeau gets an ethics violation right. He's already the first sitting PM to get hit with one in Canadian history and told himself, "Hold my beer." Oof. Yeah, but this would be his 5th ethics violation if this is another one. But because they're like, it's the PMO office, maybe he won't be directly, but this guy has done enough shit just to step down himself. Like, I'm surprised the leftists, with him grabbing that woman, being a clear groper, all these ethics violations, but obviously they don't care. It's our team. At least our team is winning right now. We got our guy in, and that's all that matters. But practically everybody that works in the government is pretty corrupt anyways. But I think liberals and stuff are just even more corrupt than the average person, because like, how many ethics violations have they had this year? Not even Trudeau. Like I said, there was this other guy, I forget his name, who was going to give contract to his cousin. Then there was, I don't know, somebody else. Now Trudeau 4 different times with the Aga Khan guy. Like, he's just, people, they just overlook all this stuff. They're like, yeah, but he's got pretty hair and a nice smile, and he says the right things and all this stuff. And there's an article today I saw, it was from like the New York Times, like, thank God for Canada, the best country in the world, and it showed like a picture of immigrants on the front thing, refugees, and they're like, this is why Trudeau does what he does, so he can get praise from the leftist media overseas, and so he can get a seat at the UN Council. So he's going to give away all of our fucking money. He's going to give away $53 million to Venezuela because for some stupid reason. But what do you expect? But I wonder how many more things that are going to come up in the future about his ethics violation, because there's also that case with that guy, the guy who is in the military, and didn't they purposely push off that case for a really long time? That's probably at the direction of Trudeau or Gerald Butts or whatever as well too. There's more interference in that as well. Like, these people are so dirty, but it's kind of an example of how our government has very little accountability involved in it whatsoever, because how many ethics violations do people have to do before they have to step down? Were they just like unlimited? What's the real consequence? They have to give a couple $100, pay a couple $100 here or there. Like, that's ridiculous. They should have to step down after like 2 ethics violations at the very least. That should be a good thing that we can agree on. After 2 ethics violations, you should step down. What was this going to be, his 5th one? Like, are you kidding me, man? And he's just going to deny it. Mrs. Raybould remembers things differently than I remember things. Blah, blah, blah. You know, it's stupid to be a feminist. Morneau lied about, Morneau, right? He was the other guy who had the ethics violation. Like, you know, soon it'll be Gerald Butts will be next. The one, what about the sponsorship scandal? Chrétien was involved. Well, I don't know anything about that, but you know, I'm sure he was. And what was the media raging about a couple years ago? Duffy. There was like that Duffy case with under Stephen Harper, and like a little bit of money here and there, and you're like, what? Like, the amount of outrage over that, and instead of you seeing the outrage from the media over what Trudeau does all the time, it's, you know, it's very telling. It lets you know, okay, these people, who are the real enemies. They freak out more about Doug Ford and shit than they do Trudeau and what he does. And it's funny because you see the media, and Trudeau even attacked Doug Ford a lot because he's like more of a leader in a sense compared to Andrew Scheer. Like, he's more of like kind of like a threat in a sense, and because Andrew Scheer he's kind of like unnoticeable. What's your favorite beer? I don't know. Haven't really drinking much beer lately in a long time because it just doesn't really get me drunk anymore. But you know, I used to just get like kokanee or something. I don't know. My Syrian refugee had his 6th kid. Oh, nice. Are you putting him out back to work or something? A question. Harit Sajjan, Minister of Defense, lied about his accomplishments. Right. He lied as well. They're all liars. Everybody in his administration are liars. Right. And he was just claiming a residence in another place. They were making this accusation about Jason Kennedy recently, or Kenny recently in Saskatchewan too. Something about like, you know, he's claiming his home, his mother's home as his permanent residence or something like this is what they freak the fuck out about. And then there's like all these ethics violations. He's going to like these meetings with these billionaire Muslims on their islands, and not telling anybody about it. And they're like, oh, well, no, it happens. You know, it's not a big deal. Who cares? All politicians are crooks, some worse than others. Yeah, you know, exactly, right? And I agree. All politicians are crooks, but Trudeau in this is crazy. Like, you know, he made a law in 2018, you know, directly for this specific case. Like, that just shows you how broken our system is. If we can have politicians easily make this stuff like so they can bypass current laws. They're like, oh, well, here we go. We're going to make this company lobbies us. Like, you know, you look at the food pyramid and stuff in Canada, you think any of that was because they really care about what we eat and what is healthy for us? No, they got lobbied by a bunch of companies to put this and whatnot on there. And, you know, they don't care if it's healthy for you or not. What are some of the solutions to leave the refugee-infested cities? To leave them? Well, what do you mean leave them? Like, you could always move, I guess, and go to the country. Learn how to code. No, I'm kidding. But I don't know, man. I don't know what would be the solution per se. Like, you could do a lot of different things. You know, you could, you know, vote for people who don't want it, but at this point in time in Canada, that's pretty much everybody. So it's kind of like it's almost like learn how to survive, learn how to hunt, learn how to go and for that potential one day, or maybe you have to, because you may not be able to rely on the government or the groceries to still come in one day into the store. One day you might have to go out and get your own food because there's everything's collapsing around you. It's always best to be prepared. But didn't Trudeau's secretary tweet to whack Premier Ford? Yeah, he did. There was that he's like, we should go and whack him. And you're like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, these people, they say the most ridiculous shit and get away with it. But they're a liberal and they didn't really mean it. And now all these liberals are being caught with blackface. And they're all like, oh, well, it's not a big deal because he was a Republican when it happened. And, they're trying to like brush it off now. And they're like, I don't know when blackface became like okay. And I saw this old thing by Joy Behar, and it was like 2016 on The View. And there's a thing with her in blackface. And people are like, oh, no, it's different. And she wasn't making fun of us and blah, blah, blah. But if it's anybody else, they had they have a slightly different, darker makeup and they're not far leftist. They're like, oh, you're appropriating our culture because you're having a tan. You got a tan. You're trying to darken your skin. Blah, 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 blah. But it's okay if Joy Behar from The View does all this because, I don't know, she's there and she's like a Jew or something. Like, oh, well, she's obviously not racist. She's not really white, right? You're offering survival and training classes next month. Yeah, that I think is not a bad idea. I don't think it would be a bad idea to know how to survive, know how to make a fire, know how to get clean water, know how to do all that stuff. Why wouldn't it be bad? It'd be good always to have those skills available if you need it, right? Your car breaks down one day and you might need to survive or some shit, and there you go. Here, 1 second, guys. I gotta turn off my camera for a sec. I gotta go to the washroom for 1 moment. Sec. Be right back. Right back, guys. Oh, sorry, I had to close that door too because fucking brother's upstairs making a lot of noise. Okay, camera back on. There you go. Hey guys, if I hear noise in the background, it just distracts the hell out of me. So I had to close the door and kind of like get some. Chupa will keep us entertained. Yeah, no, he's sleeping right now. He's just curled up in a ball, like a little baby. Good time to talk shit. What the hell is a washroom? Oh yeah. I don't know, bathroom, a toilet place where you piss. The urinal. I don't know. One of these things, at the very least. Everyone should have a flashlight, a survival heat source, cinder blocks, make a great rocket stove. Yeah, just the bathroom. I don't know. I guess some people call it a washroom. Some people call it a bathroom, depending on, I guess, where you are. I don't know. I mix it up. I change it up from time to time. But I'm looking at CBC, like PM denies directing Justice Minister to intervene. Quebec wants to throw out 18,000 skilled workers application as part of immigration overhaul. Edmonton councillor backs down from using 44,000 taxpayers' money for MBA degree. Part of Keystone Pipeline shut due to potential leaks in Missouri. The Guaido Guaido says Venezuela's. That just sounds like an insult or like a derogatory term. Venezuela's opposition is not going anywhere. Childcare cost. Cities grappling with cost of Olympic. Yeah, Calgary joins list of cities grappling with cost of crumbling Olympic venues. Like, thank God. I think didn't they like not go into the Olympics, or there was one city that was trying to get it into their city, and it's thank God we didn't, because the Olympics is just a big waste of money. It just costs the city and taxpayers millions of dollars, makes a few people money, and then they leave, and they leave all the infrastructure behind to go to waste. Yeah, well, yeah, I think we should just let Venezuela fucking crumble, essentially, and just don't interfere. Calgary has had a Muslim mayor for years. Yeah, that's that guy. I remember he always says stupid shit. He's a retard, that guy. That was Calgary, or else Venezuela would be Syria 2.0. Yeah, if you guys got any questions or news topics or anything like that you want to bring up, you want to talk about too, just throw my name in the chat there. Like Paul Chrétien, full abortion. Yeah, I didn't really have too many topics other than that, because I just thought that was crazy. I was like, okay, how many more things is Trudeau going to do this year? Like this is just the start of 2019. There's going to be a lot more things that are going to be happening before the election, and he might just lose the election with all of this shit. Like just all the shit that he's doing. Like we don't even have to do anything. Like he's just going to fuck himself over. But we'll see if CBC pushes this story a lot and treats it the same as the Mike Duffy case, and harps on this like they did all the other cases. I'm a prepper. I have a bad feeling about Canada's freedom and future. Got a bunch of Saskatchewan people to wake up and start questioning the system. Right. It's a good idea to be a prepper, probably at this point in time. People always look at them like they're crazy and say they're crazy, but I don't think it's crazy to be prepared and have that preparedness just in case. Like the thing is, when the cities crumble and all this is when people are going to start killing each other, going into each other's homes and stealing stuff, because there's not going to be resources around. There's not going to be trucks coming in and bringing the groceries into the grocery store. So it's going to be the people out in the countries that know how to fish, that know how to hunt, that know how to grow food in a garden, that know how to defend themselves with guns, that know how to hide stuff, that are living far out in the middle of nowhere where nobody's really going to go. It's going to be the cities and people in the countries. It's more homogenous. They know their neighbors. They're related to a lot of the people they know. So they're going to work together to survive. They're going to give each other, someone guy has a bunch of potatoes, the other guy's got some meat, they're going to fucking share. But in the city with a bunch of different people and all that stuff from different races, and then bam, that's going to be a gong show. There's going to be a lot of mayhem and havoc going around. And the people who are living out there, who know all this shit, who have stuff buried in the ground or whatever, like a little bomb shelter, these people are going to be the most best off. And maybe eventually people will start moving out of the cities after they kill off each other and try to go out and find smaller communities to, I don't know, maybe pillage or whatnot. But, I don't know, you get these smaller communities together, they share with each other, they get through it, they start to thrive. You build defenses against the people that are coming to steal your shit, and there you go. And that's probably what it's going to be like at one point. I hope not. I hope I'm wrong. Let me understand this, AJ. Canadians are mad that a Canadian company tried to bribe their way into a foreign market when Indian, Chinese. Yeah, well, two wrongs don't make a right. Thank you for the donation, Fredrick, by the way. But two wrongs don't make a right. And I'm not okay with a company lobbying the government to change laws, right? This is what they did. They changed the law and made it so they can what do you call it, like influence federal prosecutors' decisions. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of fucked up. Like Trudeau in his new bill C-76 or something, was what was it? I think it was that. I gotta go back to the article. I think, okay, there it is. Yeah, so it was Bill C-74, which includes remediation agreements, receives royal assent, criminal code amendments to take effect September 21st, 2018. So, you know, in 2017, Trudeau government launches consultation on whether to introduce deferred prosecution agreements, also called remediation agreements, as an additional tool for prosecutors to address corporate crime. Such deals suspend criminal prosecution if the accused admit to facts that would support a conviction, pays a penalty to cooperate. So essentially, this is going to be used subjectively, right? This is going to be used by this is going to be used subjectively by governments to, you know, one company that they don't like, they're not going to implement this. They're not going to interfere on their behalf and help them get out of it. But then a company that they do like this one in Quebec that Trudeau needs essentially to be on his side, or so he thinks, or whatever, he's going to you know, interfere on that. But other people that are also having businesses trying to take over people in other countries and influence their elections and whatnot, they will be charged. And that's still not good. I don't want this company. They were paying off government officials in Libya from 2001 to 2011. Like a lot of corrupt shit. They should be fucking punished for that. Well, that's the thing. Who's playing unfair though? It's not us that's playing unfairly. It's that company, and like I said, it's going to be they're going to be picking winners and losers. Like, it's not going to be every company that's going to be able to do that. And Libya, you know, I don't think too much of them are affecting our governments. And that's not okay. I don't want to affect foreign governments and pay them off, or have a company that is Canadian. You know, these companies are fucking globalist. A lot of them are international companies. A lot of them are they base themselves in Canada, and they're like, I'm a Canadian company, but they're really globalist anyways. They don't give a fuck about you or me. No, like fuck that. And once again, it just shows you how easily our government is able to be influenced, and how easily laws can be changed with the system that we have right now. It's like, what is secure? Nothing is secure. It's just so easily changed by some lobbyists. They're like, oh, please change this law for us, so now we can get away from this scot-free, not to pay anything, go through these lengthy trials or whatever that other people would have to go through. But me, no, I don't want to. But, you know, thank you for the donation as well. And oh yeah, I put your channel in the description below for recommended channels to go see. So everybody here, go to Fredrick Godzilla Menckin's channel. It's in the description below, and you'll see there a bunch of other YouTubers as well. You know, so check them out too. Talk about MGTOW. I don't really have much to say about them, you know, to be honest. Imagine a world without Islam. Gator. All agreed. God manifests person. AJ, you need to understand how it works in the business world. Maybe unpaid internal execs to deliver. Yeah, no, I know how it works in the business executive world, but and I know it's really fucking corrupt, and they do all of this shit. But that's a problem, you know. That's a problem, and it shouldn't continue, right? The leader of Libya controlled the immigration before he was killed. He said, "If you kill me, Europe." Yeah, exactly. You know, going in there, interfering in Libya, which we did, which Obama did, and Hillary Clinton, which are responsible for this, created the fucking massive crisis, the refugee crisis that we have now. And yeah, they also defrauded a bunch of people too, you know. So it's not a really stand-up company in my opinion. And you know, that's the difference between us and China and third world shitholes, is that they interfere, their governments interfere on decisions, just like the government of China switched that guy's sentence from 15 years to death in China. You know, that is what kangaroo courts do. That is what banana republic, third world nations, that's how they operate. So it's like, you know, I don't want to operate like these fucking shitholes and like China, these communist fucks. You know, well, communists, whatever, you know, I know they're not really communists. And not your wife. I like your wife, Fredrick. She's fine. I don't mean all Chinese people. I just mean their leadership. But thanks. But yeah, no, I have your channel there below. God says the only thing people own are the good deeds they do. He makes me watch people burning in the lake of fire. Right. You know, it's the only thing you really do. They killed Gaddafi. He wanted a gold-backed currency, which us Canadians should have. Right. Yeah, the whole gold-backed currency thing as well. Muslims were the first slave traders. Well, you know, I don't know about that. I'm assuming slavery has been going on for fucking hundreds of thousands of years or something. Like, you know, I don't know. I guess maybe the first like designated like transaction or documented one maybe, but slavery is something that we've been doing to each other for hundreds of thousands of years. You know, China knows what's up when it comes to economics. They got business or on business. Business is amazing, right? Well, we'll see about that. They're suffering pretty hard right now. The Supreme Court of Canada just ruled that all evidence they need is a female's testimony in sexual allegations, right? Yeah, you know, anybody would honestly be better than Trudeau at this point, because that is just insane, the stuff he's doing right now. China's taking over its neighborhood countries, Philippines, yeah, Vietnam, Indonesia, Taiwan, and they're colonizing Africa right now. Yeah, we're just letting it happen, essentially, or we're helping them because we're funding them with our, you know, terrible trade deals. How do I organize a nightly Canadian stream with you? What do you mean a nightly one? Like every night? Oh, I don't know. Every night. But with Julie, Derek, Joe, and Frank, and old white guy, like all at once? Do you mean? I don't know if you could get everybody there at once. I don't think old white guy would want to go in there. I don't really know Frank or Joe too well. Men are getting a rough ride, sick of it. Yeah, right. You know, and that's just the gist of it. Yeah, you know, I don't know. Maybe if you contact them or something, but I don't know if I want to set up 5 people stream at once. I don't know. Maybe, but oh yeah, right. A Canadian version of Killstream. Yeah, possibly, right? You know, I was thinking of something similar to that. Like, you know, I wanted to I want to have more debates. Hey, I should try to get a debate up between old white guy and like somebody from the PPC or whatever, right? Get a debate going from old white guy and Joe Hazelton or something. That might be interesting. I don't know if anybody would agree to that, but if you guys can think of stuff, think of ideas of who would want to do that, who would want to get into you know, something like that. Any people that you know that hate each other on Twitter, because that's the thing. I'm not on Twitter anymore. I don't get to see a lot of this stuff, that kind of like back and forth between some people that goes on there, that you see, that you could be like, hey, you know, if you guys see people arguing and stuff like that about certain topics, be like, AJ Illicits would host you on his channel to have like a argument, you know, on his stream, and he will moderate for you. So if you do see that, if you do notice that, yeah, and just, I don't know, leave me a message, send me an email, something like that, on my email. Go there. Yeah, right. You know, I want to have more discussions about arguments. You know, like me and Fredrick, we had some discussion there, and you know, we didn't get into like some blood sports thing or anything like that. But you know, just debates or discussions, or you know, between two people, and yeah, if they hate each other, all the better. That'd be even funnier, right? If I can get, you know, I should try to get like I don't know, like Anarchore on here or something against like somebody that he hates. That might be funny, but I don't think he would show up to do it. No twits. Right, but I think there is a market for that right now on YouTube or Twitter. I don't think there's a lot of people that are doing the whole debate thing right now. And I could see a lot of people liking that and tuning in and whatnot. And winner gets a basket of bacon. Cage match. Wonder Years. Talking to fall asleep. Well, yeah, you know, I don't know. Everybody has their own likes. I'd like to have a shootout with Trudeau live stream. Oh, yeah. A shootout. We're going to have a shootout with him. I've been banned from Twitter twice. I had a big following on my second Twitter account. I haven't even bothered making a third account. Yeah, well, I can't even really make one, right? Is the stream lagging a little bit? I gotta see something here. Okay, no, it looks okay. One sec. Let me check a little bit of news here, though. Didn't really have too much set up, too much planned. Honestly, I was like, oh, I'm gonna talk about this. I was like, this is fucked up. And then Fredrick comes on. He's like, nobody cares. I'm like, oh, you fucking asshole. You ruined it for me. Okay. Here's something from a little while ago. UN official admits global warming agenda is really about destroying capitalism. You know, this is from Zero Hedge. And she didn't say in those exact words, but she's like, this woman, a shocking statement by Christiana Figueres. I don't know. She's a globalist. Her husband or her father were all like the leader of Costa Rica. Her husband works for like the World Bank or something. But this is the first time in history of mankind that we are setting ourselves the task of intentionally, within a defined period of time, to change the economic development model that has been reigning for at least 150 years since the Industrial Revolution. So what is that? That is capitalism. So, you know, this whole thing, she is in charge of the whole thing about immigration. I mean, the Paris Climate Agreement. So that is what essentially the Paris Climate Agreement is. It's just, these are just ways to destroy capitalism. You know, she even said it herself. You know, this is the first time in history of mankind that we are setting ourselves the task of intentionally, within a defined period of time, to change the economic development model that has been reigning for at least 150 years since the Industrial Revolution. She even restated that goal, ensuring it was not a mistake. This is probably the most difficult task we have ever given ourselves, which is to intentionally transform the economic development model for the first time in human history. So yeah, like I said, this woman, she's the head of the UN department or something in Brussels. Statement was made by the United States official, Christina whatever in Brussels. I forget exactly what she does. Something about environmentalism or something, or she's like the head of the framework of that. So that's pretty fucked up. So it's pretty blatant to see. Oh, 1 second here. Let me check out the chat. Cage match. Winner gets a basket of bacon. Okay, AJ elicits what happens with Saudi woman. AJ elicits what happened with the Saudi woman that Canada saved. I'm not really sure, honestly. I think she she's probably smoking a lot of weed in Canada right now, and being a whore or a prostitute. Who knows? She's living it up. What about DJT Boy singing the All USA Made Infra Bill in Bozo Freeham, saying she will fight the Americans with tariffs? Does she understand leverage? Yeah, right. And a lot of companies right now are arguing to reduce or get rid of the tariffs entirely, because that was just a losing battle from the very start. But thank you for the donation again, Fredrick, the $5. I'll read it again though. Like, what about DJT Boy signing the All USA Made Infra Bill in Bozo Freeham, saying she will fight the Americans with tariffs? Yeah, right. And everybody she was being lauded, Chrystia Freeland and all those people, for signing that bill, and it's just completely shit. They didn't get the tariffs removed at all. It's because they are bad negotiators. They didn't do anything. They left. They were in Europe for I don't know how many weeks that America and Mexico were negotiating with each other. So it's pretty ridiculous. I live on 5010. She's in Toronto. She got free rent, free food, free everything. Yeah, right. She got a lot of free stuff. Christia Freeham, Freeland or Freeham? Why so dumb? Is that your new name for her? Yeah, no, she's probably the worst, a negotiator in Canadian history, or one of the worst negotiators in my opinion. Let me see here. Gator, Trudeau denies new reports that his office pressed. Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna deny it. Deny. It's never going. He's never going to agree or admit it. And when it does come out that he really did do it, he's gonna be like, "Oh well, I remember it differently than it was remembered by these people that say I did it." Blah blah blah. I don't remember doing it, so he's just gonna deny it. Oh, that's the nickname for her. Property tax installment. Sorry, folks, my cat is typing. Oh, that's all good. But yeah, no, I was just going to bring up that one story. I didn't really have too much else at this time to talk about. Maybe I should have lined up a few more things, honestly. But I was like, oh, I'll talk about this for a little while. But I don't really have much more to say. That's the thing. There's so many things that happen in Canada, or things that Trudeau does, that's kind of like I almost don't care anymore. A lot of the times it's like, well, yeah, that does happen. It's every single day it's something different. So it's just like, hey guys, by the way, he's giving this much money to this place. Oh, hey guys, by the way, we find out he influenced this company. Oh, by the way, he did this, he did that. But I don't know. No, he will just say, I'm sorry. Why can't education be prerequisite for PM? Yeah, I think that would be a nice thing if they would have to be somewhat intelligent. Maybe that they should have to do like an IQ test. Like I said, owning a house is renting. If you don't pay your taxes, they take it away from you. Yeah, pretty much. Well, I forget to ask, the shooting in Winnipeg, was it bikers or natives? Oh, right. Yeah, I saw about that shooting in that store. They're not releasing, in the story I read, they haven't released any new information about it so far. So who knows? That's kind of fucked up. That is a place just right on Portage too, or on Main Street. And that's like, yeah, a good restaurant. I think I've been there once, Johnny G's or something. Yeah, I'm a flat roofer. I do flat roofing. Yes, they do tired Canadian, I know. Oh. Trudeau explanation of groping that female reporter in Sook was laughable. Yeah. She remembers it differently. And it's funny how the media and all these liberal reporters were like, oh, well, we're not going to press the issue because she doesn't want to be talked to. But for sure they would be like knocking on that woman's door, being like, are you sure? You want to interview? Tell us about this. Why aren't you telling us about this? Blah, blah, blah. Like, we need to know. It's because they were not white. Yeah, probably, right. They haven't released any information, and maybe I can look at some forums or something from Winnipeg to find out what happened. Yeah, lots of shoveled gravel, right? Yeah, no, it's fucking, especially doing roofing back in the old days with the tar and gravel. That's no fun. Trudeau is whacked, and you have to do all the repairs yourself. Well, depending on where you buy it, full envelope roofing is a real man job, lots of hard labor. Yeah, you know, that's the thing. A full envelope roofing, that's pretty much what you're doing. You're trying to envelope everything. And doing it with like tar and fucking gravel and tar paper and fucking the heavy tar mop. It's like the mop, the tar mop thing that people like. I do mostly like more membrane and other stuff. People they've moved away from doing tar recently. They still do it, tar and gravel roof, but yeah, that one, it's fucking heavy as shit. And it's like, oh man, it's fucking backbreaking. I was doing that in like minus 35, 40 weather. And like, yeah, my whole beard, my face was all white, completely white. And it was crazy. But we're working from like 7 to like, or like 6 till like 7, 8 o'clock at night in the middle of winter. It's fucking ridiculous. We need women in your job. Yeah, there's actually a couple here and there that come in, you know, and they last for a little while. Some of them are okay. How do you compete with the Chinese? These guys undercut the white guys, but they work really fast and do good because they're just not strong enough to do roofing. I've never seen a Chinese roofer. You know, how do you compete with the Chinese? Well, I'm sure they can do it. I'm joking, but like, I don't see any Chinese roofers. That the Chinese people we bring here, we don't bring them to do roofing. And you know, I don't know. I don't compete with them though. And I do flat roofing, so I'm not doing shingle roofing. So flat roofing, you know, it's different than shingle. You know, shingles, shingling can be done cheaply and can be done like, you know, yeah, you can hire a bunch of Mexicans or fucking Chinese people or whatever to do some shingling. Like any idiot can shingle. You know what I mean? It's dangerous. It's dangerous. And sometimes really fucking dangerous, but I'm just mean like any idiot can shingle. But it's flat roofing. There's a lot more involved in flat roofing. There's a lot more. There's a lot different styles. You can do rubber. You can do tar. You can do membrane. You can do all this different stuff, right? Chinese can't see around world, so height are out of the questions. Right. Use machines to bring up the shingles. Yeah, well, you know, I do a lot of maintenance and stuff, so I don't use a machine at all, right? A lot of the times, like unless we're doing bigger jobs, and we'll use a crane or something. Like, depending on what you're bringing up, sometimes you'll need a crane, but other times you'll use like a hoist. But me will do maintenance type, so I'll be like, I'll pull stuff up like with a rope on the side of like a 3-story building. I have to like stand on the edge. I'll put on my harness, right? I have a rope, and then I'll stand on the edge of the fucking building and lower a rope, and then my brother will tie something below it, connected to it. Then I'll pull it up, and then, you know, I do that. I fucking sometimes, you know, you're pulling up like 100-pound, more than 100-pound thing, and you're just like, fuck. You pull that up. And then, you know, you get to work or whatever. And it's always different, right? For me, you know, sometimes I do rubber, sometimes I do membrane. You know, I don't do too much tar and gravel, but, you know, there's a few different roofing systems. Oh, well, I worked on the highest building in Winnipeg here. So I can't think how many stories that is, but that was pretty crazy. That was scary. And you're just like, man, I've worked some places and had to do some things where you're like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm like, no. They're like, no, just climb up on there and reach and get that metal off. And you're like so many stories high in your air, like, no, I don't want to do that. It's crazy. It pays pretty well, right? It pays decently well, especially if you work a lot. Well, way higher than 5 stories, but if you work a lot, you can make a lot of money. You can make decent money. One sec here. 5 stories right on Swift. It's weird. It says there's 2 people watching my stream, but there's more people in here talking than 2 people. So I'm like, what the hell is going on? Is YouTube fucking with my stream right now? I have no idea. Is YouTube fucking? Can everybody who's here hit 1 right now? Whoever's in the chat, hit 1. Okay, hold on. I just refreshed something to see. Because this looks weird. I've never had that. One sec here. Does it pay well? True. Daniel Spree. One sec here. 3 now, 4 now. See 3. That's what I was saying. Seems like there's more people than 3 or 2. Now there's 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What the hell is going on? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Nobody's hitting it twice, right? Hopefully nobody hits it twice. Now 2. Yeah, I don't get what the hell is going on. Making no sense. Hey Voltron, how's it going, buddy? Yeah, I was like, there's 2 people watching my stream. I'm like, it was like at 30 at one point, and it just I'm like, okay. Like I understand I kind of slowed down there, but I was like 2. I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, I'm really fucking boring. I am not a bot. 4, yeah, there's 3 people watching my stream somehow. And we're back to 3. YouTube is fucking with me, man. I swear to God, like some of my videos before, I swear to God, like after I got that strike a little while ago, or it wasn't a strike, it was something to do with one of my videos. I can't remember what it was, but and it's like now what they're listening to me now. Now it goes back up to 8 and 6. That's weird as fuck. I just got banned. Who banned you? Yeah, I saw a comment removed. Gabriel Swift. Okay, no, you deleted your own comments, looks like. Message deleted by Wayne. Or what did they say? I didn't even see what he said. Well, that's really weird. Everyone hit the thumbs up. Yeah. Yeah, everybody hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already, which probably most people have, so it probably won't change too much. That's weird. YouTube is fucking with my sub count or my my viewer count. What the hell? Maybe they're trying to like screw you, like make you leave. Like, oh, you're talking about too much truth, AJ. You're speaking too much truth to the power. AJ, it's time me and Damn Dirty Ape and Happy Fox watching. AJ, it's just me. Okay, yeah, I know, right? It's just you guys. Everybody else is just left me alone. Yeah, I know. YouTube, they fuck with your videos sometimes, and a lot of comments like don't get deleted, and they look like I delete them, and I'm like, no, I didn't delete the fucking comments. Or I go and it shows in my response thing that I can respond to the comment. But when I click on it and it goes back to my video, the comment's not there. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like old white guy made some comments on my video. And then I'm like, I went back and I'm like, shit, I hope he thinks I didn't delete the comments because I didn't. Yeah, I'm speaking too much truth to the power. And they don't like that. They don't like that. That's why they're fucking with me. They're trying to break my spirit. They're trying to be like, see, only 2 people are watching you because you suck. Because you suck. And and then I'm like, I'm looking at the chat and I'm like, what the hell? This doesn't make any sense. Now my cat, hey buddy, what are you doing? You need some attention? Chupa power. Chup power, man. Yeah. That was you. Was it you? You tell such truth, you have to enforce echo chambers. No, you just annoy the shit out of me, Anarchore. That's why I ban you, because you're annoying as fuck. That's why. With your shit videos. So you get. Could it be if people are running multiple screens? So if I use my other primary browser, I notice the number drop. I have no idea. I've never seen this before either. So I don't know. It's probably Anarchore. He's fucking doing something. He's reporting me. No, it's not. It's not him. Let's see. No, I didn't ban you. What did you tell old white guy or something that I banned you, or did you complain? Did you complain to people? Smear my name after I did that? What did you do? Could it be if people are running multiple? Oh, sorry. It's Blue Angel. Fucking cat. Fucking cat. The commie incel. Okay, all right. Anarchore, you can come on. You can come on and debate me or question me about whatever. There is that going to be an echo chamber for you then? For you? Here? Is that going to be an echo chamber for you then? Because I'm fine with that. I'm okay. I'm a-okay with that. Here's the link. And you can join anytime you want. I can see YouTube not wanting certain channels growing. Let me stuff your cat up. NY Fanny. Oh, you fucking big black dong, man. Come on, man. That's enough. Anarchore's a commie incel. That just makes me laugh, man. I don't know. It's funny. I count myself as 3 people. Yeah, 4 people watching this stream, but they're all just opening new tabs, signing in, signing out quickly, making comments, and then they sign out. They sign in, make another comment, so it appears like I have more people in here than 4. No master debating. Oh, thank you, Richard. I really appreciate that. Yeah, people want to see a debate. Debate. Everybody press 1 if you want to see debate. And if a debate doesn't happen, then I don't know. I'm going to ban Anarchore from my channel. For good. For good. Because people are like, oh, you're enforcing your echo chamber. It's like, well, here's the fucking link, man. Like, there it is. It's right there for you. I got like a chill though, like a fucking cold chill. I put like my blanket on. Oh, it's so cold. Hit the bong. No, I'm gonna get my channel removed if I keep doing that. That was too risky. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's at least 12 people in here, at least, that I know. Yeah, Justin and Maxim debate on AJ's channel. That would be funny. No, you're not gonna buy my cat, man. I'm gonna stop threatening my cat. You can threaten me, but you can't threaten my cat. Whatever you do, that's too far. It's way too far. See, Anarchore, he hasn't said a single thing after I put out the link, right? Not a single thing. Not a single thing. Still there. It's still there. No cat threats allowed. Keep up the truth. Bombing AJ. Oh, thank man. Most of us appreciate it. Well, I appreciate the comments and the I appreciate everybody who likes and shares my videos, because that helps a lot, especially with YouTube right now. Like if you like and share, that's great, man. That's awesome, because my shit, you know, I'm not like, that stuff is obviously going to be harder to move around, just because based on the topics that I do cover and the way that YouTube works now, that whenever you do cover a topic that is like, you know, like a shooting that just happens or something like that, that, you know, you want to hear some people's opinions about, when you do a YouTube search now, all you see is like CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, CBC, all the mainstream publications. So, you know, people, it's really hard, a lot harder to get traction compared to what it used to. When I first started YouTube, for like a little while, it was good. And then a couple months into when I was making YouTube, then it went to shit. And you're like, you noticed for sure, like the difference of what they did to YouTube and all that stuff. But, you know, thank you for watching and liking, subscribing, all that stuff, guys. Cats rule, dogs rule. Yeah, see, the Anarchore is just a pussy, man. You're a pussy. You're a chicken. You're a chicken like Fredrick, Godzilla, Menckin's avatar. You know his avatar? You should put that avatar as your avatar, Anarchore, because you talk a lot of shit. You talk a lot of fucking shit all the time on everybody's channel. You made a video about, I saw on your channel just the other day, it was like on Julie, and you're calling her like a boomer and all this shit. Like, I don't know, it's just stupid. And you made one about me and made another one about Mysterious Blue there, and then you'll probably make another one about me soon, I'm assuming, and I'll look forward to watching that. I hope it's well thought out, well done, because I don't want to waste my time watching it if that isn't the case. And you know, it'll be entertaining. But yeah, man, you got no balls, and I'm gonna make fun of you for that, because, like I say, you talk a lot of shit, but you can't even go on a debate. You can't go on somebody else's channel, which you do have a channel. I know you have a channel. I know you have the equipment. I know you have a mic. I know you can speak in the mic because I've heard you speak. So, you know, you're revealing your true colors, man. You're revealing your true colors. You can't defend your positions other than throwing, well, you're a dum-dum. You're a dum-dum. You're a dummy. You don't know anything. You're stupid. Well, prove me wrong. Prove that I'm stupid. And Julie is, yeah, way too young to be a boomer. That's like, how fucking old are you, man? Like Jesus Christ. But oh, echo chamber. What echo chamber, man? I've given three links, not a comment yet. Not one comment. So, you know, man, like, you know what? You should speak to people online like you would speak to them in real life. You know, if you're not willing to debate somebody in real life, right, and argue their positions, you're not going to say the same things you say on Twitter, or I mean on my comment sections or whatever, and be like, oh, well, libertarian, you're dumb. Well, you don't get this or that. Like, you're not going to approach people like that in real life, right? Because you don't want to argue with them and have them argue back with you in real life. But on the internet, people feel like it's like, oh, well, I can get away with this and whatnot. But whenever they get called on it, and they're like, okay, here's a link to the debate, they go scurrying away and running away. And you're like, okay, so really you don't care. Oh, there he is. I knew it. I knew I would get you on here by doing that. I knew you were watching.
Echo chamber. Echo chamber.
You're echoing.
What did you do?
You're literally echoing.
I wasn't listening the last few minutes.
No, I got you on. I got you on. You got to admit that. You got to admit it, right? So what is your problems and what do you want to talk about? What are your disagreements? What are your policies? What would you do that is better?
You said that I was ignoring your points and
Yeah.
not replying to your concerns.
Right.
Okay, I've got our latest discussion where you put out a large point and you talked
No,
about.
hold on. We've had lots of interactions with each other. Okay. So the response that I gave you the other day or whatever, that is the tip of the iceberg. Dude, we've talked a lot. We've had lots of altercations before. I've argued with you plenty of times. You can go back and watch the streams, which I've argued with you about. And it's not like just one instance, or you can't just point. Well, see, I did respond to one of your points here, so you're lying about me. It's like, no, man, this has been going on for a long time. Now,
Well,
who cares? Who cares? That let's just say you're legitimate and you do respond to people's arguments, or you try to. Okay, let's just say that is true. Now, what are your arguments? What do you want? What is your proposition to help Canada? What do you want the future of Canada to be? How do you want it to look? What would work best? Because I know you have a lot of disagreements and stuff, but what do you think would be a better alternative?
I agree with you. I think we need national socialism.
I never said we need national socialism. When did I say that?
In so many words.
No. I don't. Has anybody here seen me say I want national socialism?
Okay, what's wrong with like having dividends from large industries? Like, you never answered the question about large industries, and you want everybody to have autonomy.
What happened to large industries?
Have autonomy.
What happened to the companies under Hitler? What did he do to the economy? What did he do to the economy? Do you like what he did to the economy? Do you like what he did? Because he destroyed small businesses, right? And he encouraged monopolies, you know. And there's plenty of quotes from him as well too. And like, they only cared about profits. They never cared about the people. And that's not capitalism, because they destroyed small businesses, because you weren't allowed to start a business unless you had somewhere like between $40,000 and like $200,000. So when have I advocated for that?
But anyway, what do you think about the latest goings on in Venezuela? Are you like the rest of the Molyneux-esque Shapiro types and saying that it's all socialism?
Well, Molyneux and Shapiro don't agree on a lot of things.
Yeah, but they're in alignment on this. So
I haven't seen Molyneux' position on this, so I don't know what it is.
Other factors involved in Venezuela.
I could agree that the government and other governments could play a part and influence the government of Venezuela and stuff. I don't think we should influence the government as Venezuela, but what is really going on on the ground floor in Venezuela? Do 60% of the people, 70% of the people want Maduro gone? So what influence are governments having other than saying, okay, we recognize this guy as the leader, right? That's different than actually going in and doing a regime change, or doing like what they did in Libya, right? Not to say but like, I don't know 100% about. Go ahead.
All the fake news is all on the pro-US side. Let's listen to this.
Right. I could agree that there's probably a lot of it, but go ahead. Sorry.
Nessa, what's her face? I forget what her last name is, but she's part of this group called Asymmetrica, and she's based in Washington, and she's born in Venezuela, and Well, I just read between the lines, and I see Zionists, but she obviously is one, and they're all advocating this Guaido guy that nobody's ever known of before,
Right.
and you know, Maduro may be a cheese-eating pig, like who knows, but all we're getting from Venezuela is the fake news, because that's what they've got set up there, and that's what's been constantly against Hugo Chavez's government ever since he got set up there, and they contributed to the coup that removed him from power for like a couple of days as well.
Right.
It's all like, it's all collusion. And the Monroe Doctrine, I did a video about that before, the Monroe Doctrine, and how the U.S. has been in South and Central America for hundreds of years, and every time a government tries to do something for the people, they'll install a right-wing dictator. So I disagree with you on your point that it's because the people of those countries have low IQs, which is why they vote socialism. They're voting socialism as a rebellion to these really bloodthirsty regimes that the U.S. backed, and they trained death squads to kill union organizers and horrible
Yeah, I've heard that as well, right? And the influence that Reagan had, and Nixon, and all these people did, and the go ahead.
Growing coke guy and the
well, like Reagan funneled lots of fucking drugs and all this stuff, and started a lot of these cartels and whatnot in Southern America and all that. And that's true. There was a lot of influence, and that's bad. That's not good, right? And I can agree that, like, if you look in Cuba, right, that they are socialist because of a rejection of the previous government or whatever that was in there as well, right? And they're like what they call like the fascist government that was in there before. But
the Batista,
the Batistas. But like I said, the girlfriend, she's Cuban, and she knows a lot about that, and she talks about that. And the Cubans that are in America, they're the people that actually, they're the Batista supporters or whatnot, and they're actually hated by a lot of other Cubans. But there is also a very racial aspect to that as well, because those were the white Cubans, right? And the white looking ones, and that is what they are kind of known for as well. And they're like, it's fucked up. Like they do socialism, but it would be obviously better. The people in Cuba, they don't like Castro. They don't like these people. They don't like the fact that they can't own businesses. They want to own businesses. A lot of people in Cuba and these places are not allowed to own businesses. And like I said, my girlfriend, one of her aunties, she was the only people that was allowed to own like a bread making place in the area. And it's fucked up. People, they're given, no, not everybody's allowed to eat meat, but guess who can eat meat? The tourists, because these are the people that are bringing all the money into Cuba. So, all the Cuban people, they get to eat meat once a fucking month. But hey, they see all these people on the resorts eating tons of fucking shit, tons of food, tons of meat, and all this crap. And then you see Castro living it up, living it good. And you're like, and then you see the same thing with Maduro. You see his people, they're eating cats and dogs. And then the same week, the same day, when we hear all this stuff, you see these videos coming out with him at a huge party with all this food, with all of his buddies being like, yeah, this is so great, and it's disgusting. These people, they don't care about their own people. Not at all. And, that's what I see anyways, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not into any kind of authoritarian regimes myself. I'm not a big fan of it, but what else is going to change the banking situation? We might need to have a short-term good guy, our guy in there, to do what the Q myth is supposed to be doing.
So you think that we need like a short-term good guy to fix things temporarily, like with the banks and stuff?
Well, you know, Hitler was an anarchist. He only wanted 1,000-year Reich, and by the by the time the Superman is fulfilled, then we won't need government anymore, right?
Yeah, I guess, right? But like 1,000 years.
Hopefully we could do it faster than that.
Right. You know, that's kind of that's a long thing, but you know, he could say he wants anarchism or he wants that type of stuff, but you know, we see what he did. Like, you know, the German government, they were in massive debt and massive deficits going at the time, and they pretty much had no other option but to invade other countries to steal their money so then they could pay for the debt in their own country. Like, it wasn't really a sustainable way to do things, right? And I don't know, I was reading up on their economy a little while ago, and like, yeah, there's a lot of shit. And it's like they're still working with the bankers, and they privatized everything. The thing is, they privatized pretty much everything, but it wasn't really privatized, right? It wasn't really, like, they say it's private company, but these private companies are all, you know, working, they're all supporting Hitler's regime. Like, if you support Hitler's regime, then your company's gonna do good. Just like Trudeau. If that company in Quebec supports Trudeau, well, he's gonna make a law that can circumvent them going to trial. And yeah, we do. Our systems are already very much similar to what the hell Hitler was doing. You know what I mean? It's like we're gonna be in the same situation where we have huge deficits. The only thing that we're gonna be able to do is like either go into massive debts or invade another country. You know, whenever countries need money, that's the only thing they do. They just invade. They go in, they steal shit from other people, right?
You draw a distinction between being authoritarian to, say, a big corporation that is in charge of like a monopoly industry that's a monopoly by just the virtue of it being so huge, and being authoritarian towards individuals. Like, is it possible to like force these corporations to do good?
Because I go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
And so hopefully,
so you want to figure out a way to force corporations to do good?
Set up some sort of framework where dividends are distributed to the people that are of that land. Like, Ralph Klein wasn't a socialist, but people of Alberta got Ralph bucks, and you know, they probably could have got a lot more.
Right. So go again. Sorry. What exactly?
So So you're against like, I was criticizing you about the Molyneuxisms, right? Where
right, the corporations. You're saying, how are we going to stop corporations?
He would characterize any kind of government bullying of corporations as the same as the government holding a gun to my head and taking my money.
Right, and I understand where you're coming from with that. You're the way you're looking at it is that, yeah, if it's just the same if a corporation does it to me as a government doing it to me, right? But you know, like I said, you got to look at a lot of these industries, and you got to look at their history as well.
Okay.
Sorry,
that's not quite.
That's not what you're quite saying. Could you clear that up then? What were you exactly saying then?
The government's the bully here. So is the government bullying a corporation the same as the government bullying an individual? And can you have one without the other?
Well, what is the corporation made of? A bunch of individuals, right? It's not like a fake entity. It's not like an unfeeling, yeah, like together they're a corporation.
My previous comment by talking about large industries that are monopoly by virtue of their size. So,
yes,
like,
right. Large
industries. You want to encourage competition in that, right?
Yes, large industries and monopolies will take advantage of people. That's the definition of what they do, right? That's the definition of what the government does, because they have a monopoly on force, right? So you know, they take advantage of people. The police shoot innocent people. They get away with it scot-free. You know, they have a monopoly on power, all that stuff. They're going to do things to take advantage of us, right? So how do you
democracy
go ahead?
To be for
Democracy, you're saying?
Or theoretical democracy is supposed to ameliorate that kind of thing, but it doesn't, of course.
Right. It doesn't, right? Exactly. A theoretically, democracy is supposed to have all these stop gaps and stuff to prevent these types of things, right? You know, different separate forms of government to prevent that. That's why Trudeau and the thing with Quebec is really fucked up, because it's the PMO coming in and directly influencing another branch of government that's supposed to be completely separate, right? And she even referenced that in her declaration a little while ago. She's like, you know, these things are supposed to be separate for Canada, right? But as we see, that gets superseded on all the time, right? But, you know, how do we prevent corporations from taking advantage of people? Well, you have more competition, because, you know, generally if you have more companies, it's going to be harder for them to take advantage of you. And how do companies become monopolies? Well, that's a whole different story, right? There
are natural monopolies, though. I mean,
well, there could be some potentially, but oftentimes we see like a lot of the only companies that are still around today are like what? Coca-Cola and some other company. Some companies get really, really, really popular because they make a really good product that everybody buys right away. They kind of garner the market, but then, you know, over time they go to shit.
Average, AJ, but it's harder to make like a alternative transmission line to
Can you point to me to a natural monopoly, though, that was not influenced by government, you know, grants or anything like that? Like, can you point to me the one that has had literally no influence whatsoever, like today? Like Google, we know that isn't one of them. We know their company isn't one of them. Like they didn't. Go ahead.
Gotten to this way because of interference, and that's why it's going to be hard for just laissez-faire kind of capitalism.
But the thing is,
out of it.
But there's so many monopolies already, right? We see all these monopolies. What is the government doing about it? Nothing. They haven't done a thing. We see Google, we see YouTube, we see them banning people every day. But the government, they want these monopolies. They help create these monopolies because then they can go and be like, hey, ban these people. Hey, ban these people from this government. Hey, ban this, ban this. You know, and then they could be like, oh, see, we're not infringing on your freedom of speech. Blah, blah, blah. It's not the government doing this to you. It's this thing. But they're working together, you know, like. But the whole problem is the government, in my opinion. And you're thinking that who's going to restrain the corporations? Well, the corporations aren't restrained. They're not restrained right now. So without the government, you're probably going to have less monopolies. And then the very few monopolies that maybe we do have, which you can't really point to me an example of one that had no influence from the government. So we're not even sure if there will be these great, huge monopolies, you know, because oftentimes, how do they stay a monopoly? It's through often like all these regulations and stuff. It's really hard to get into the industry that they're in now. It's practically impossible. They have such a head start. So, you know, there are so many different factors into why. So I just think that, you know, do we need another authoritarian system on top of another one to prevent this other system from taking, like, I don't know. But you think we could do that as long as we have maybe a competent leader doing it and, you know, telling the companies how to act and how to treat people well?
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily authoritarian to regulate electricity so it's not breaking people's back.
Right.
Kind of thing.
But the thing is kind of like things cost money too, right? Like things cost money. So how do we figure out what things cost? Like how are you going to figure out what is a roofer worth compared to a fast food worker, right? Should they get paid the same amount of money for doing different, like how do you figure out this value? you know, the value price, the value difference between, you know, these types of work. How do you really know the price of electricity and what you should be costing people? Because if you charge too little, then, you know, the company, you're not going to be able to keep the people that work there alive, right? So or unless you centralize everything under the government, but then, you know, then you don't have the free market, then you don't have freedom, then you don't have choice, then you don't have private property, you don't have people that can actually create businesses of their own. It's all going to be government run. And is that very sustainable if the government runs each and every industry to make sure we're all getting paid good money? And like, I don't know if that's even possible or that they would want that, because the governments understand that this capitalism produces wealth, like free trade, you know, owning things, giving people some freedom to produce is a good way to have wealth. But sorry, I just got a super chat from Fredrick. Took another screenshot. You have 17 participants and 1 watching. Send it to YouTube when I send it to your minds. Yeah, that's fucked up. That's so weird. But go ahead. Yeah, because YouTube's messing with my viewer count for some reason. But go ahead. Sorry, Anarchore, are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. But that's my 2 cents. I don't know if, you know, I would be, yeah, what do you think would be better? Like, you know, or what would you think would be a good person to, or a good system? You know, National Socialism, I guess. Okay, actually, you know what?
We're doomed.
What drove you to National Socialism, first of all? I'm curious about that.
The refugee crisis, pretty much.
Okay. The refugee crisis.
Yeah. That's what kind.
Really? How so?
Just a visceral reaction to it, I guess.
So
the invasion aspect of it, and that it could be so orchestrated, and that it was using wars that I was against before, that were initiated by certain powerful groups. So yeah, I was never into like bourgeois democracy anyway. So, do you think Bernier is going to be any good?
Bernier is going to be any good? Well, I don't know if he'll even be elected. I guess I don't know if he'll get into power per se, but I would assume he'd be a lot better than Trudeau at the very least, and Andrew Scheer. Just if you just go on by what he says, then yeah, he would be better in my opinion. By the way that I think and judge things, yeah, he would be better. That's what I think.
I wish more people would confront him about the first plank of his foreign policy, which
okay, what's that?
You know what it is. There's one good aspect of it, and there's one bad aspect of it in the same sentence, pretty much.
What is that?
At least. Pardon me?
What is the good and bad aspect of it?
Let's see. About Canada not ceding sovereignty to the UN, an organization that has been unfairly devoted to criticizing Israel. So there's one good thing in there, and for Canadian sovereignty, and in the same paragraph, he's telling us that Canadian sovereignty isn't really his main point there. And that's kind of sad to see as his first foreign policy plank. But it's not surprising seeing he was in the Harper government and probably bought into the Ottawa Protocol of 2010 on anti-Semitism.
Right. So like he said something, sorry, like about Israel, you were saying? He said he's going to do something about Israel when his first foreign policy. Sorry.
Sorry, did you hear it? He said that the UN is devoted to unfairly criticizing Israel.
Oh, right.
So,
right. Yeah, you know, that's some pandering to Israel and stuff, right? And I don't like that. You know, that's kind of stupid.
But all those UN resolutions that where the USA has actual like unsymmetrical power in the UN, so they can veto anything. And Canada used to vote with the rest of the world, and as soon as Harper got in, Canada voted with the USA and Israel, you know, against all the settlement resolutions and the bombing of Palestine and all that kind of thing. So
right, yeah, no, I don't like that aspect.
You know, he needs people need to push back on Bernier having that same kind of policy, because it's obvious. It's obvious that freaking Sperm Cheeks wants World War III and his freaking tribulations and rapture, so he can go up to heaven. But you know, maybe Maxime can have some reason talked into him on this this Israel question, because
right. Well, you know, it's like the whole Israel thing. It's fucked because, you know, that's the thing. There's a lot of bad options for politicians right now to choose from. There's a lot of bad options
all around for sure.
So
but there's a certain segment of the public will love him.
But the thing is, like, I'm sure you probably are not a big fan of Trump or something, right? But
I'm sort of semi on Trump.
Right. And Trump supports Israel, right? He moved the embassy to Israel.
Yeah.
So, you know, he does too, right? You know what I mean? And you kind of gotta sometimes look at the whole package and be like, okay, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this, but fuck, he's a hell of a lot better than Hillary Clinton. Well, in my opinion, maybe it would be exactly the same. I don't know. Hindsight is 2020. We will never know. But I think he's better. He seems to be better to me. I think he's doing a decent enough job. You know, he's like, but
yeah,
he supports Israel as well, you know? So I think we hold some pretty high standards. Like, if you do like Trump and you do kind of support him, then he supports it too, right?
The thing is, Maxime is available to the public, and I haven't seen anybody ask him about this. And it should be something that people are conscious about, because it's a bad sign that he's so
fucking cat, man.
That he's put that the policy of Israel, well, pretty much ahead of Canada.
Right. Yeah, but like, you know, Trump pulled out of Syria. He's pulling out of Afghanistan. He's not prolonging these wars that a lot of these people want. You know, he didn't go into Syria as hard as he could have when he did those, you know, those couple of shootings and stuff. So, you know, it's yeah, there's things where I'm like, fuck, you know, I wish he didn't do this. I wish he didn't do that. I don't agree with this. You know, he was for that bill about anti-BSM or BDSM, not BDSM, but I don't know. Somebody said that.
Nation and sadomasochism bill,
yeah, right. So I'm against that too. You know, that's fucked up. Should not be allowed. He should not be for that. But he is, and that's stupid. It sucks. And but there's just they're such a huge lobbyist. They have so much power that sometimes you may have to do the deal with the devil in the meantime, I guess. Like, that's the thing. That's why I would never go into politics, because you're going to have to lie. You're going to have to sometimes take your promises back occasionally and kind of do that knowingly going into it, because you can't make everybody happy, especially in politics. You know, you can't. That's the problem with democracy and politics, is you can't make everybody happy. They all want different things, and once you get a voting bloc vote for you, like all these people vote for Trump, well, he's gonna have to alienate a portion of these people at some point down the future, you know, down the road, right, with a certain decision that he makes or whatever. But go ahead.
I think he should get some pushback from the people now, especially since
I agree.
he's so available. You know, that people should be asking him, and pointing out that it is a failure in his kind of sovereignty rhetoric.
Right. And, you know, I think that politicians aren't going to do a lot either until the people start pressuring them on stuff, right? Like politicians, they didn't care about gay marriage or anything like that until enough people switched and they're like, I want gay marriage to be legal. And then they're like, I've always supported gay marriage. You know, like Obama, you see a thing of him, and then 5 years down the road, he's like, no, it's the gay marriage. I love gays. I love the gays. But, you know, they switched. None of them are genuine. They're going to go with the downstream of culture, essentially. So if enough people in America and Canada are like, no, I don't want to support this stuff about Israel anymore. I want the embassy gone. I want this gone. But you got to remember, in Trump's base, a lot of people that voted for him were evangelicals and were Christians like that support the nation state of Israel, right? So, you know, if you're going to pander to the Republicans and win the conservative seat to be the president, to make some decisions, to change a few things around, well, you might have to fucking pander to Israel. You know what I mean? To win. Could he have won without doing that? I don't know. Probably not. You know, if he didn't have the evangelical support, which you see in the media, they're constantly attacking them, being like, look, Trump he's a woman groper. How do you still support him? And they always have them on, and they're always like, well, you know, and we forgive and forget and whatnot. And, you know, they're like, but you said you wouldn't support Obama or this candidate because they were, you know, they were adulterers or something. But now you don't care about Trump being an adulterer, yada, 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 yada. But you know, you know, but this is a big segment of people. This is a big voting block, you know, of people that he needed. So without pandering to that in Israel, maybe he would never have won. And then we'd have Hillary Clinton in there or something. And I don't know if you want Hillary Clinton in there, but I know I sure didn't.
No, I was campaigning for Trump.
Right. Right, you know, and I think Trump was a better option because, you know, Hillary's fucked up. She's crazy, man. She's got a lot of shady shit around her. A lot of dead bodies piling up around that woman. And people can talk about Trump and his shady business deals, which I'm sure he's made in the past, and done all that stuff, and you know, cheated on his wife. You know, he's not the greatest man in the fucking world, you know, but I don't think there's as many bodies piling up around him as Hillary fucking Clinton, right? And, you know, all this fake Russia narrative bullshit. But I can understand why you would move towards National Socialism if you like Trump. You think that, you know, he's getting in there, making changes, right? Having some results. So there is something to that, right? In the system that we have right now under democracy and all that, there is truth to if a good guy gets in and changes a lot of stuff around, it would be better.
The whole Q thing is all about. There's a huge undercurrent of that. Everybody wishes that he was really a dictator, you know?
well, yeah, to some extent, right? You know, like, but I think that we all want that to some extent, like a philosopher king or somebody who's going to come in and, you know, care about the people, care about what's right, make sure nobody's getting taken advantage of, exploited by corporations and all that stuff. But, you know, that's like that's like a very hard to come by. It's a very, very unlikely to happen. There's very few people like that get into these positions of power to turn things around. Like, they don't come around very often. You know, Trump barely got in there, and you saw the attack against him, and still what's going on. They're so frustrated because he's upending a lot of the systems in the world and stuff. Like, what they guarantee, they thought America was going to be in the Paris Climate Agreement. They thought they were going to be in all these trade agreements, which now they're not. Now they're kind of scrambling. Like, what the fuck are we going to do? And that's why they don't really care before about whether it was Republican or Democrat winning, because they were all going to sign on all to these same trade deals, just like Andrew Scheer signed on to the Paris Climate Agreement and all this stuff. And maybe Maxime Bernier won't pull out. Maybe he's lying to us all just to get elected. But at the very least, he's saying he's going to pull out. He's saying some stuff that I do like, and I think we can't underestimate the power of words and just people saying things. Like, we can't underestimate that.
The climate
makes people up.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. But
a climate change narrative now is just completely evil and just wrong on so many levels, especially the demonizing of CO2.
Right. You mean like the climate change stuff?
Yeah.
Right.
Because if we are going into an ice age, and it's possible we are, and these people want to sequester CO2, what if CO2 is the one thing that Earth from going into that ice age? There's scientists that think that's actually the case.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I just saw an article from CNN. I think it was 2-3 days ago. I did a live stream on it, and I also seen it in Canada a while ago. And they were saying that the settlers, when they came to North America, created a mini ice age in like the 1500s, because all of the Native Americans got wiped out, and then there wasn't farmland around or certain whatever, and then it was one of the factors in creating. Now, I think that's kind of propaganda. That'd be kind of hard for them to figure that out, but it's true that if, like what you're saying, or what they were saying, that if there's no longer all this CO2 going in the air and all this stuff, then yeah, it's just going to make it a lot easier for an ice age, another mini ice age, or get really fucking cold.
You know what? All the extinction events, except for one, which what happened way back, every single extinction event would coincided with ice age. So
right. Exactly. They want to depopulate us. That's one of their goals, it's to depopulate a lot of places. And there's this, there's that. Go ahead.
A certain segment of the population has access to these underground facilities, and I don't know if I believe in that, but
hey, I wouldn't not believe it. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't you build? Why wouldn't you do that? If you have all the money and resources in the world, why wouldn't you fucking build this type of shit just in case? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. The government knows a lot of things that we don't know. And, there was something, I think, from Dick Cheney a while ago, a quote memo was released, and they're like, if the public knew what we knew, there would be riots in the fucking streets or something, like probably from the things that they've kept from us. We don't know. But I got a question from Fredrick here, super chat, $5. Thank you for the donation, Fredrick. But he said, ask him what he thinks about legal immigration. So what do you think about legal immigration?
What do I think about it?
Yeah, legal immigration.
Oh, Canada was a country of immigrants.
Right. So you're joking, right?
No, I thought this for a long time, that immigration was even when I was what did you say?
My cat's just constantly interrupting me, jumping on my desk.
Before I was a Hitler admirer, I thought it was stupid the way, even back in the 90s, we were bringing in hundreds of thousands of people a year, and there's
Right.
no evidence that there was need for jobs in Canada. There's no zero unemployment or anything. So
right, yeah. Why are we bringing in people when we don't have zero unemployment? Like that's just like, okay, how are they justifying this?
Wonder why.
Right, exactly. The wages. We wonder why wages are staying flat, stagnant. What incentive does an employer have to pay people more money if they have 100 guys they can choose from? Fine, you're gonna be mad, you're gonna quit. Well, this fucking Mexican dude, he'll fucking do it. He'll work, he'll do it because he's living in a house with 15 other Mexican dudes there, like, and they're all pooling their money together or something, right? And it's like, fucking cat, you son of a bitch, stay there.
I think another part of the agenda with the climate change is they're really scared of a post scarcity world. Like right now, since the 80s, there's been 2 times the amount of 2 times like the U.S. Continental U.S. of leaf cover worth added to the earth since the 1980s due to CO2 fertilization, right? And it's only getting better as more carbon dioxide is being added. And the
right,
what's causing all the droughts and stuff, and like in Australia, they took down about 13% of their forests since settlement, and that before that the Aborigines burned the forests yearly, I believe. And now they're saying, oh, it's climate change in Australia is causing drought, and just because the monsoons are late arriving, right? And what attracts water is trees. They create their own mini ecosystems, right? Not ecosystem, weather systems.
right.
A huge forest it's a massive container of water, and also creates clouds above it, and it circulates water, right?
Right.
So and like the Sahara Desert was caused by humans as well, and there's a video on YouTube how we reclaim it, and because that's another thing about the climate change propaganda is the hurricanes, right? Where are the hurricanes forming? They're forming in the Sahara Desert. Why aren't we doing something about that? And it's going to be easier as the studies I've cited before, where they found that the leaf cover has increased. It's going to be easier to reclaim deserts because it's already happening. The deserts are being encroached upon as plants don't need as much water when there's more CO2 in the atmosphere. They're able to hang on to their water. They don't have to open their stomata as much because the atmosphere is more rich in CO2. So they hang on to the water because it doesn't evaporate. So they're able to do more photosynthesis, create more leaf cover, grow more. And let's watch this documentary about this village in Russia that's covered by sand every now and then, right? Well, the solution is to plant deep-rooted plants. So all these solutions to ameliorate the alleged climate change aren't really being looked at, right? It's more like panic and run around with your head cut off, and are we gonna
just give money to Africa? That's what it is. It's just like everybody. Go ahead.
Spread ground gunk in the atmosphere to limit the sun coming down. That was actually
yeah, I've heard of that proposition, right? And you're really gonna block out the sun? Like, Jesus Christ, man! Like, just Stop giving
Yeah,
money to third world countries so they overpopulate. And like, you know, if that is really a fucking problem, right? So there's plenty of things to do to, yeah, like you said, ameliorate, and we're not really doing them. We're just, I think this a lot of climate change is an excuse to take money from people and give it to this person or this group or this group or that group. It's just that's what it seems like to me, my opinion. But I got another question from Fredrick here, another $5 donation. AJ, ask him how old the Earth is, how many extinctions events we had, and how many ice ages we had. So he wants me to ask you that question.
Wants me to look up Wikipedia?
I guess so. Because I guess you can find that on Google really quickly. How many ice ages? How many this? All right, there was 6, 7, and 5.
Yeah, I think there was something like 6 or something.
Yeah, there was. I can't remember, but I know there was quite a few extinctions, and you know, I don't know. I don't know if they like some of them. They think it's through asteroids or like, you know, volcanoes or, you know, I don't know, a few other different reasons. I haven't looked too much into it.
But drought, you know, these people thinking that it's going to be like Venus or something on Earth if we, you know, and it's against science because a warmer atmosphere actually holds more water vapor. And so drought is more akin to like the tundra or northern kind of climate.
Drought?
You know, like only reason there's drought is because of human mismanagement most of the time, because the natural state is rainforest, right? You look at Brazil.
Well, yeah, like, well, it depends because when
over North America too.
Right. Well, like it depends on the size of the landmass too, because when the Earth was like the whole one big mass, like, you know, when it was all together before it separated, like there was a lot of like desert or there wasn't necessarily like a lot of water coming in from the oceans and stuff to reach like the center of the continent, you know, when it was the mega continent at one point. So when it did separate, things did get more rich and plentiful and you know, have more resource. But the further you go inland, the less, you know, further away you go from water, right? You know, the less rich, you know, sometimes the soil is usually going to be, or drier, I guess. But yeah, it's fairly, I know what you mean though. It's a natural state for most environments, ecosystems with plenty of, you know, sufficient resources in the area to be that, to be like a rainforest and stuff. Or you're saying that like all the deserts were created by humans? Were all of them created? I don't know if all of them were created by humans.
Maybe not all of them, but you know, a lot.
But I know we do create them. I know what you, the Sahara Desert and all that stuff, but I don't know. I don't know enough about that stuff to really say yes or no. Pardon?
They created that the desert environment in Australia because it was beneficial for them, because it encouraged more low shrub and it fed the kangaroos, I guess.
What did they do exactly in Australia? They
burned the forests.
Oh, right. Yeah, you know, there's controlled burns and stuff all the time, right? And
how controlled they were, but
oh, right, yeah, right.
Anna land, you know.
Right. Well, you know, sometimes that stuff works. I guess, you know, it just remakes shit, or, you know, starts anew, I guess. But yeah, like we, you know, the thing is too, we got to realize is like humans, we are a part of the ecosystem too. We are animals. We are natural, and us, you know, changing the environment is also kind of natural. You know what I mean? Like a beaver, when they build a dam and they dam up a fucking river and they stop all the water that's going there, and it dams and it like kills off a lake or something, which they do,
yeah,
right?
We're definitely natural gardeners of Earth, and we should be doing our
should be
a vegan paradise here. Which
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not a Christian, but I think we are the caretakers of the earth, kind of thing. You know, like we should take care of it.
Hey, I want my vegan paradise. You can still hunt, but
Right.
thinking about this a lot lately, and I really think Earth is in a denuded state, and that the plentiful natural world that people imagine is bullshit. Because this planet sucks at the moment, and case in point is that people, after watching the movie Avatar, came out depressed. They felt like a homesickness, right? Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't hear about that. After they watched it.
Yeah, because the world Pandora, it's kind of like a hearkening back to the Earth, back when maybe there was 16 times more carbon dioxide, and there were really large, robust creatures, more oxygen in the atmosphere, just more life, more energy, right? And humanity's been shrinking for the past few 100,000 years. I'm thinking maybe that's part of that.
Right. Well, you know, like things have shrunk, definitely, and the levels of carbon in the air have drastically changed, especially since the prehistoric era. But like, we're never going to go back to the same levels of, like, it was way fucking higher, like at that point. You know, like everything was really fucking hot or like humid or whatever. Like, you know, was there even ice caps at that point? I don't even know. I can't remember, but sorry.
Some people like that though. Think about how much of Earth is on like such high altitudes.
But could we really survive that?
Of Canada.
Like, we may not be evolved for that drastic of a change. Like, if we were to be like thrown into the 250 million years ago or 5, like, I don't know if that climate would be good for us.
It's already bringing benefits, like the 2 times the continental U.S. worth of leaf cover so far, right? And
right.
I'm thinking it's gonna continue to bring us benefits to be a little warmer.
I think so. I hope so. I want Winnipeg to be warmer. It's cold as shit here.
Absolutely.
And that would be good for Canada if it warmed up. We're lucky. If we're probably in the best position for global warming to happen. We would benefit the most out of it, because 3/4 of our continent is frozen. Right.
Yeah.
We can't use 90% of it, essentially. So we would just have all of this opened up land with this small population of people. It would be great. But
CBC had to admit that it's been good for farmers. They were able to grow corn in more northern latitudes.
Right. And that's going to continue. The warmer it gets, and we're going to have more and more food and grow more of it. But you know, there's problems with food growth already now too. It's just the soil isn't mineral rich, and a lot of the food people are getting has no more nutrients left in it. You know, the vegetable that from 50 years ago had more nutrients in it.
Permafrost.
Right, but they're just not doing proper practices of farming. They're not turning the soil. They're not letting it go fallow. They're not doing lots of different things that they could be doing.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, they're just mass producing a lot of these vegetables and products or meat or whatever, and they're either full of antibiotics or they have no nutrients in them. So people are highly nutrient deficient. This is why people are having all these like osteoporosis, all these bone problems, all this stuff, all these tooth decay. And why are people having so much tooth decay and stuff? It's not because they don't brush and floss their teeth. It's because they're not getting enough minerals and nutrients in their diet. You know, you see all these indigenous cultures, they have perfect teeth. They don't do anything. It's perfect, strong teeth. And you know how there's a difference between bone density and white and black people, right? And black people will have thicker bones. I was just thinking about that, and that could be entirely because they had a natural diet longer than us compared to a more industrialized, agricultural nations that ate more grains or whatever. I wonder if why these African tribes, why their teeth are fucking white, perfect, and all this shit, and like strong, their bones are thicker. Is it just differences in evolution, or is it because maybe our diets have been severely lacking in necessary minerals for so many years and generations that now we have all these eye problems, kids have all these allergies?
Somewhat, but I guess the North American inhabitants had the advantage of having some new land to over farm for a few generations before it caught up to them. So more robust than Europeans in that sense. Because of that, I don't know.
Yeah, to some extent, like we're more robust, I guess. I don't know.
Than the modern European, right?
Right. Well, you got to think of the people who also came to populate North America. It wasn't the weak, like people who couldn't make the journey. Everybody who made the journey and who survived and who like built up the country, who like, came and like, there's nothing here. Like people that came and it was just woods and marsh and some natives and stuff like that occasionally. And like, if you weren't strong, you didn't make it. You died. You froze to death. You died, or you went back to Europe. So all the Canadians, we're probably going to be hardier people because we come from a hardier stock of people, just inherently, especially the people whose ancestors were the ones that built this country, or been here for a long time. It's just like evolution, kind of like the weaker ones are dead. All the weak ones are already dead. They didn't have kids to go into the next generation, but everybody else that was, no, I'm not going to say strong, like, per se, but able to survive or come up with survival techniques or whatever, or work together to whatnot. So I think the people here are also hardier, but I'm saying the people, it's Africans that have thicker bones than white people in any country, like including Europe and North America.
Either though.
Sorry?
They have a loss of buoyancy along with that, so it's not all good.
Well, no, but I'm not saying it's like good. Like maybe it is just purely evolution. I'm saying like maybe it is just we just have different bone densities for different reasons because of the environments that we were in. But it could also be potentially the diets that we've been eating for a long time. And we've been like, osteoporosis and stuff like that is increasing a lot more nowadays. And these types of illnesses, because, our diets are completely fucked up. I'm not going to say there's a specific diet that for every human, because we've all evolved in different environments, and potentially this group of people could benefit from this, and this group doesn't need it. This group potentially doesn't need it. But we're doing really wild experiments right now with what we eat and all this stuff, and we don't know how it's going to affect us, because the only way to know how these diets we're having right now, when somebody tells you, oh, this diet's going to make you healthy for sure, we don't know that, because you can only know this through generational studies. You can only know this through seeing, without any other factors in a controlled group, which is practically impossible, through 3-4 generations of people to see the effects of what the diet is going to have. But people, they come up with a new one like a year ago, and they're like, oh, this is going to clear up all your things. You're going to be totally healthy from this. It's like, no, that's probably not true.
Starship to Alpha Centauri and a carnivore one at the same time.
Right. And I don't know what it is. I think I'm really interested with some of the stuff that they are saying in the carnivore diet. And I just came across that recently. I'm not going to eat raw meat myself. Fuck that shit. I cooked some liver today, and I was like, the smell is horrible. And I was like, how the fuck do people eat this raw? And I'm seeing these meat this raw. Huh?
A lot of bro science.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say necessarily that. There's some of that involved, but I wouldn't say all of that is. But I'm just saying it doesn't smell good. But so I cooked it. But the liver is very nutritious. It does have a lot of vitamins in it. Practically everything that you do need. And it's like you eat it every day. You don't need to eat it every day. But you got to think about, like, people in modern day, we don't eat these foods at all anymore. If they do eat meat, it's very lean with no fat. It's chicken breast, it's muscle meat, it's this, it's that, or whatever. All of our diet's very nutrient deficient and mineral deficient. And, we wonder why people are sick and weakly and all this stuff. And even depression has a lot to do with diet, and a lot of these vegan people, they say that they have depression. And you see them, like, they're like, why I'm no longer vegan. Or like, when I started eating, just putting a bit of animal product, I started to feel calm, like normal again. And maybe that's just for them and their bodies. And some other people can feel completely fine. But like I said, everybody's body is different, and they process minerals differently, vitamins differently. Like maybe you can process vitamin A better than I can process vitamin A through carrots or something, right? And maybe I can't process it as well as you, so maybe I'll have to eat something else to get vitamin A, sufficiently, because it's not bioavailable, and some vitamins are only digestible with fat, some type of fat. I guess it doesn't have to be animal fats, but it has to be with some type of fat. And a lot of vegans, and they have a very low fat diet. And now they're starting to move away from that. Even the vegans that are now they're like 80-10-10, or like they're like, okay, well, high fat, high carb diets, and they eat lots of nuts and whatever, because because it's an experiment. They're all experimenting with each other. And a lot of people, they would promote like all fruit diet, and like, that's horrible. That's horrible for you. There's just, there's people, their teeth are falling out. There's one guy, he's like, I don't know, I lost all my teeth. And he's like, they just started falling out and getting like translucent and all that, because they're not eating, we're not supposed to just be eating fruit.
Most people that would really benefit from juice fast for at least a week, just to see the effects. Because
I've heard of that. And that juices can be like a cleansing, right? A cleansing thing, like, like a cleansing.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't maybe eat them every day, right? Or like, not, I don't know. But I'm saying I don't want to give anybody advice, because I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. It's just some of the stuff I've seen. But I don't want to tell anybody to stop eating fruit and just eat this and that, because I don't fucking know. And I don't want anybody getting sick and dying and then coming to me and be like, I got scurvy because of you. So, don't listen to me. That's just me talking. But Fredrick, AJ, are you Gillette man or Schick man? Oh, well, obviously Gillette. I support women in the Me Too movement, and I'm a Gillette man all the way.
Gillette.
Why would you even ask that question, dumbass? No, I'm kidding. Sorry for interrupting you. I just saw it super chat. I had to address that. But thank you for the super chat.
In French.
Sorry?
Gillette is a vest, isn't it? Like a yellow vest?
Oh, well, it's like Gillette Jaune, they were calling that. But Gillette is a German company, I'm pretty sure. Isn't it? I think it's a German company. Like Gillette razor.
I could be wrong. So, are you going to give me a wrench now or what? Before these jealous moderators, sycophants of yours, get pissed off at me one of these times.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe I'll give you one. Maybe I'll give you one. You were cool. Hey, you showed up. You came on.
Everybody else who's...
Yeah, I was purposely doing that to try to get you on, because I thought you're probably going to be listening. So I'm like, oh, that pussy, what? He's this, he's that. Like, hopefully this gets on.
Conversation.
Sorry?
I didn't even hear most of that. I was like, okay, I'm going to get on.
Yeah, right? Exactly. So I was like, I knew that was going to get you on. I knew that was going to work. It worked all of a sudden. But thanks for coming on, though, man. I actually appreciate that. That's cool. And I will consider giving you a wrench. I'll think about it. Okay, I'll think about it.
Well, you gotta have trolls, man, because they keep you honest.
Right. That's true. That's true.
As long as they're not just
and like the thing, like I wasn't
boring.
You know,
I don't like boring. As long as they're funny sometimes, you know. Like,
yeah, like and BM, he was just kind of getting on my nerves, and if it's just always like you're stupid, and you're like, okay, all right, like
yeah.
Now every time I look at the chat, I see BM every third, fourth thing, and then it's like, okay, now I'm just reading this, and like it's fucking up your flow, and you're like, okay, man, I just
careful that
like please give me. I want a disagreement. I want people to be like, you're wrong because this and that reason and this and whatever. I'm like, okay, and doesn't mean I'm gonna ban you just because you say I'm wrong, but I mean, like, he was just relentless with that shit. Every one of my videos, I'm like, okay, man, you're annoying me. I just don't want to see you anymore. I'm gonna block you. Like, just I gave him the same opportunity as you, and he never took it up. I said, debate me. Here's the link. Here's the link. I'm like, come on and have a discussion with me. Let's talk. Let's, but he didn't want to. So you at least took up a thing. And I give you fucking props for doing that. Definitely. Thanks for doing that. That's cool. Plus my show was going flat there. I needed something.
Yeah, man, you and Kelly Day needed me to spice it up too. Sorry for cucking you last night, but
All right. I was just kind of in that debate, all that shit, and I was just kind of like, I don't even want to argue with Anarchore right now. I'm like, fuck you. Like, get out of here. But I didn't even see that. But yeah,
just
yeah.
Go up at the chat. I didn't see him.
Oh, right. You didn't see him? Who in the chat? Kelly?
Spaceman.
Oh, Spaceman.
He can do what he wants. I was just, having fun with them.
Oh, yeah. Spaceman here. Let me see.
I was calling it.
Go ahead. What are you going to say?
I was just calling into question his the veracity of his fire starter claim as well, but I guess I'll...
Oh, okay. Mysterious Blue. Is what you're talking about?
Pardon me?
Mysterious Blue is what you're talking about for his claim.
Well, I threw some doubt about it, but I'm not gonna.
Right.
I'm not gonna officially say he was making it up or anything. But
right. Yeah. Right. So I don't know either. Like, I'm not. I take things with a grain of salt when people tell me shit. Especially if I don't see any evidence of it. I'm gonna be like, okay, that's interesting, but
and then
I've learned to don't take people's word for shit. Don't do that. So yeah, it's good to be skeptical, but do you need to make a video about it? You know what I mean? Nah, probably not, right? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I'm not saying you don't have to, but like, you do whatever you want. It's your channel.
It didn't affect him. He's still doing the same thing. So
right. So it's all about what you're trying to do. If it's your point to try to convince somebody, like, what is your point of the video? It's like, do I want people to learn from this? Do I want them to change their opinion, or do I just want to like bash this person because they're stupid, right? Or like make fun of them? Like, there's nothing wrong with doing either one of those things per se. It's whatever you want to do, but it's kind of like, well, what is your direction of your channel? Like, what do you want to do with your channel in the future? Like, where do you want it to go?
Niche, and he got 100,000 views on one of his latest videos. So
who did? Mysterious?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. There you go.
The UFO one. Where it's
nice. Fuck, man. There we go. That's good. 100,000. Fuck, I've never gotten one that many. So that's a lot. And just keep pumping stuff out. Keep making content. Something will hit. You get an audience.
Videos that I don't want to hit, like that exploitation video I did of that poor Honduran guy, and it's my most viewed.
Right, you know, and you never know. I never know what's going to get a lot of views. Sometimes I release a video, like I did that Me Too when it got like 30,000 views. And I was like, what the fuck? I just did a random rant about the Me Too thing, laughing at women.
Hours researching and working on. And
right. And then it gets like no views. You're like, oh, God damn it. I put so much heart and soul into this. And it's got like 200, 100 views. You're like, God damn it. And then something you don't even think about, you're like, out, and you kind of release it, it's all fucked. You're like, oh, whatever, I'm not gonna
I'll give you crap.
Sorry,
you plebes want crap, I'll give you crap.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I made that Saudi Arabia video bitching about Trudeau and his thing, and I thought I was bitching, and then some Saudis caught it and made it huge. I'm like, it go like viral in Saudi Arabia or something. I'm like, what the fuck?
The video only have the highest minded intellectual content,
right? But you know, it's big. Whatever. Like, what is your direction? Like, what do you want to do with your channel, though? Right? Like, what is your goal? What is your end goal? Do you want 100,000 followers? Do you want to create something, change minds?
I've got that climate change, post scarcity civilization just percolating, but and I've written a few things about it, but I guess it's not really ready yet. But that's what I've been thinking about mainly, is and it's kind of beyond politics. If we could get people to help ameliorate climate change and at the same time plant trees, plant living gardens, you know, like automatic garden forest type things, that we could eliminate a lot of division, like a lot of political division, because it'll be irrelevant in a post-scarcity kind of environment. So,
right. Oh, you mean like when we have plentiful of resources, it's
like,
not
yeah, like if the CO2 keeps going up, maybe that's what they're panicking about, because they're seeing
that's a good
burgeoning plant life, and if it keeps going, and you know, it ends up to the point where you're walking around and you just randomly picking up leaves and stuff on your way to the store, and you don't even have to buy food at the end of it.
Right.
You know?
What does the government want the least from you, and maybe corporations or whatever? Like, what do they want the most from you? You know, they want your dependence upon them. Yeah. So a world where there's food everywhere, where there's freedom, where there's jobs galore because you got free trade and free. They don't want that, because then you don't need them. They want to be needed, because if they're not needed, they have no power. And that's all of their source of power, is like, well, you guys need this, and we're going to give you this, and you need to vote for us to give us power to get it for you. Then we'll get it for you. And then, yeah, they do stuff like this. Maybe that is a good point, that they want to stop this climate change because it's going to make the world too fucking livable, and they won't need them anymore. And they'll be like, fuck, if this happens, they won't need us anymore. And, you know, and yeah, some businesses would probably would flop, because now that's their, you know, their bread and butter or whatever, this food or that food. But yeah, you know, there'd be more animals. We could have more meat. We could have more fucking vegetables. We have more everything, you know, whatever we want. But, you know, that's the thing. Yeah, that's a good point.
So small, like, look at the size of a average strawberry, right? It's really small, and we have to eat so many of them just to live. With a more burgeoning biosphere, it'll be a lot easier to gather enough calories, and you know, maybe we can go back to having 8-foot-tall humans. And
right, and that's the thing. You know, it's calorie deficient people. It's all about calories and what's like,
you're on you got the elephant on a really small island where there's not much.
Get smaller.
generations, the elephants become mini elephants.
Yeah, they become pygmy elephants, and same with those people on those islands. They become like really small because their bodies have to adapt to less resources, right?
Like hobbit people. So my thesis is that that's kind of happening to humanity in general.
Well, it could be reversing because, you know, if you look at the beds, like you go to the museum here in Winnipeg and you look at there's this boat and you got all these beds from the sailors in the 1600s and stuff, and they're like tiny. You know, all these people back then were so fucking tiny. Like they were all in their 5 feet tall, something like that, like in the 1700s. But that's why you can't look. You have to look really far in history to really know, like before agriculture. Because if you look at the Masan people, the Maasai people or whatever in Africa, who eat a very primal diet and have for a really long time, up until recently, now they mainly, but they're tall as fuck. Like they're some of the tallest Africans, some of the healthiest Africans, all this shit, like the best teeth, best health, all this stuff. And, you know, they're eating a very natural diet that was closer to what our indigenous ancestors would have eaten. And there's a lot of milk. They survive. They live off of lots of fucking milk and like blood. Now they have to mix the blood in with the milk to get more resources because the government's kind of fucked over a lot of what they could do or how they used to survive. Now they can't really survive that way anymore. And they have to kind of do farming and stuff.
I'll be massacring them now. That sounds really haram.
Right.
Blood and milk.
But you know what, man? I think I've been going on for quite a while now. I'm getting kind of hungry. I'm gonna eat some meat.
All right, bro.
But thank you for coming on, though, man. I appreciate that. You got some balls. I'll give you that. And you know, it was a good discussion. You know, wasn't bad. It wasn't, you know, we have some stuff we agree on, or we can agree on, right? Have some common ground.
It was point.
Yeah, it was productive. I think so. But, you know, guys, thank you for coming by. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Fredrick, for all your donations. You gave me a lot of donations. You asked a lot of questions. Thank you very much for that. I really do appreciate that. And everybody else who donated during the stream as well. Thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing. Please share and like. That really does help the video. And, you know, that was fucked up throughout most of the video. Like my view count was really messing up. I don't know what was going on there, but it seems to be repairing now. I'm going to look at participants in here. Let me see how many. Yeah, I don't even get it. It only shows like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like 12 participants, but there's more. So I don't know what's going on with YouTube right now. It's fucked. It's fucked to shit. But what are you going to do? That's fucking YouTube. But thanks again, man. I'm going to take off here, though. Have a good one, Anarchore.
Freaking liver, sausage, whatever you're doing.
Yeah. All right. Take it easy, buddy.
Later.
See ya.